If you're a big fan of aviators, but they all seem to be too big on you, stick around, I have some recommendations. Hello and welcome, I'm Eyeglass Tyler, and today we're going to be talking about the best aviators for small faces. All of these guys are going to have a thoughtfully designed lens shape. Yes, you are going to see some of the traditional teardrop lens shapes, but we also have some contemporary shapes and some things that you might not think are considered quote unquote aviators, but really would still fit in that category, and I tend to actually like. And so this will be a little bit fun. All of these also are going to have adjustable fit features, both nose pads and flexible temple tips. I'll get into that if there are any variants. There's actually only one, this guy right here, that's a little bit different, but kind of a cool thing anyway. So we'll talk about that when we get to it. We'll talk about sizing. The SFW range is going to be between 130 and 132 millimeters. If you're not familiar with the SFW, that's the SportRx frame width. Gives you a better representation of fit and how they'll actually work for your face. And that is the SFW range that fits well for smaller faces. If at the end of this you're ready to order, don't forget about SportRx. Definitely don't forget about our See Better guarantee. While we're here talking about fit, and you probably are looking at this because you have tried and failed at finding a frame that fits you well in this style category. And so if you're hesitant, you don't need to be, because with that See Better guarantee, you're never stuck with something that you don't like or doesn't work for you in any way. You have as long as 45 days with them. Even if you get them in prescription, you just contact us and we take care of you no matter what it means on our end. And so really risk-free, and so you don't have to stress about it. Also, we have opticians, by the way, who would love to help you get it right the first time. So you can always reach out to us. All right, let's talk about these frames. First off, of course, we're going to be talking about Ray-Ban. We're going to be talking about their classic aviator. This is that classic teardrop shape that we all are very, very familiar with, and is probably the first thing that comes to mind when you think about an aviator. This is the RB3025. This is specifically the 55 eye size. So the 3025 is available in a range of sizes. For the small faces, the 55 is the one that you want to be looking at. This frame was designed in 1937, so it really does kind of bring us to the origin, I think, of the aviator, and it continues to be the iconic aviator frame. So definitely, if you're looking to just go with the most classic, this is a good option for you. It is lightweight. It is a minimalist metal frame. While I say lightweight, I am holding a pair that has glass lenses in it, so do keep that in mind. If you're getting them in prescription, you cannot get them in glass. Unfortunately, it is only available in plastic variants. However, in non-prescription, you can get it in glass, which is nice, very scratch resistant, but not very impact resistant. You also have to be aware of that. It is possible if you drop them that they can crack and shatter. Also, they are heavier, but in non-glass, these are actually quite lightweight, and it's easy to see why. There is very little material on here. It is about as minimalist as you can get in terms of frame presence. I would say it really is all in that lens shape and design. Very dramatic teardrop lens. This is available actually in 3 sizes. We'll be focusing on just the 55 right here, and the SFW on this guy is 130 millimeters, which lands you at a men's small to medium. Women's maybe more of a medium, still in that small category. One of the most treacherous things you'll do is try to set an aviator upright. It'll fall over real easy. Next up, we're talking about the Maui Jim Baby Beach. I love Maui Jim for the Baby Beach. Been around for a long time. As you can see, a little bit of that kind of classic, still kind of has some of that teardrop aesthetic into it, but it's a little more oblong, and it definitely does suit a smaller face very, very well. And as the name suggests, this frame is ready to hit the beach. It is saltwater safe, has treatment on the lenses and the frame, gently contoured lens shape that is going to be less dramatic than traditional pilot lenses. It is a great option if you have higher cheekbones and notice the Aviator style tends to rest on the cheeks. So this is definitely going to be a little better on higher cheekbones. When we're talking Maui, we can't not talk about their lenses. That polarized +2 lens technology is incredible. And of course, RXable, thank goodness. The sizing on this also has an SFW of 130 millimeters. Hey, if you're liking this content, but maybe you have additional questions about aviators, or perhaps you have prescription needs, well, be sure to reach out to one of our very friendly and knowledgeable SportRx opticians, because they're eagerly awaiting your call. And for even more small face frame reviews, unboxings, prescription aviator content, you can check out our videos and our blogs. We'll put a link in the description below. Next up, we have an Oakley, and this is the Oakley Split Time. And now we are getting into a really good example of what can be an aviator, but still be really different and bold and interesting, but still actually have that teardrop aviator design. I really like this frame. A little more of maybe a feminine aesthetic to it. I don't know that it's totally limited. If you're a man and you're loving the look of this, don't be afraid. Don't be nervous about it at all. This is a really cool frame. It is, as you can tell, more of that kind of classic teardrop shape, but with a lot more elements to it that make it much more unique than just a simple classic aviator. And leave it to none other than Oakley to design a performance-oriented aviator. There's kind of some mixed material going on here. You have C5 alloy metal on the frame, which is incredibly lightweight and also very durable, but then there are also acetate elements to it. So there's acetate in the temple all the way through, and it actually is not, it's a little bit of an adjustable temple. Definitely something you'd want your opticians to handle because it needs to be heated up, and it doesn't have that metal core in the temple, and so it needs a little more finesse. But then they have this kind of an eye cup, I don't know what they would call it, that the lens goes into, that also goes into the frame, that can very much take a prescription lens. By the way, thank you, Oakley. But it does have a little bit of a side shield design in here, which is very cool and very unique. One of the things that I absolutely love is that they incorporated their newer nose pad design on this, which is an unobtainium rubber nose pad design, little more of a kind of saddle bridge style, so it can rest across the top of your bridge. What that does is it helps to disperse weight a little more evenly and equally over your nose, which helps to make them more comfortable. Also, it means more surface area, surface contact, and so it will grip even better. And while we're talking about nose pads, they did design it to be no snag, which is supposed to not catch in your hair, which is true compared to some of the nose pad designs, like in these guys with like the hook design. It is rubber though, so you might notice that it pulls a little bit, but it definitely is going to be a lot better if you've had that issue before with nose pads catching in your hair. That's not going to be nearly as big of a problem in this frame. Still that flattering teardrop lens shape. It is available with prism lens technology, also in prescription. Again, thank you, Oakley. And the SFW on this guy is 132 millimeters, which is the largest on the table. Still should be good for smaller faces. And next up, we have another Ray-Ban. Again, we can't get away from Ray-Ban when we're talking aviators. This is again now departing a bit more away from the traditional pilot aviator design. Now we have what they call the Caravan, and we're getting into the area that I actually personally really like. I love this shape. I love the Caravan. You're getting really all of the same things that you get in the 30-25, but you're getting it in a little more modern of a lens design. I feel like a lot of people have that classic look. If you're looking to get that aviator aesthetic without the kind of identical to all of it, because you have a lot of also knockoffs, right? Those kiosks in the mall that have the $5 and $10 sunglass frames. They have usually that classic aviator design, and you can't tell. I mean, you can if you have a keen eye. You can tell when you have a cheap pair of aviators versus non, and Ray-Ban does a really good job of making very obviously good quality aviators. However, this is just a little less common, and so I like it personally. It suits my tastes very well. So this is more of a square interpretation off of that classic aviator, but otherwise very, very similar. You still have that double bridge aesthetic. You still have a very low profile frame all the way across, very, very thin temples, very, very thin frame across the lenses. It's all the lens, and I love that shape. I just like how this style works. Do note that it is a little bit shallower of a lens. If you're used to that really deep lens that you get in the Aviator, you don't get that so much with this, but it still gives you all the coverage that you need and protection, and it looks freaking cool. Sorry, I said a grown-up word. It really is a great option, I think, if you don't find that teardrop lens shape to be flattering on your face. I've been talking all this time about personal preference, but it might just not suit your face, that classic teardrop design. And so this is a good option for you. This is also available in other eye sizes, 2 actually total, but this one is the 55. And this has an SFW of 131 millimeters. And last but not least, we have one more Ray-Ban to show you. This is the RB3648. They call it the Marshal. This comes in a 51 eye size, and this is probably my favorite Ray-Ban Aviator design. So again, it is a departure from that typical teardrop, but I really like it. It's kind of more of that geometric shape. You still get that double bridge. You get a much wider double bridge where it hits in the middle of the lens, and it's much more bold. And you just have a cooler vibe, in my opinion. The approach here is a little bit different. Instead of going with the ultra thin round temples, you have a little bit flatter, but still pretty darn thin temple. I think it has a little more of a kind of antique approach to it. You have some details on the eye wire. You have a little bit flatter, a little bit of flare on that top bar and the double bridge. You have fully adjustable temples, of course, fully adjustable nose pads. Overall, a better shape for people with perhaps a rounder face. It is a little more squared. I know I mentioned geometric. It's like a hexagonal shape, I guess, really and truly, but just unique. It's a really cool frame style. I'm a big fan, and I think you should be as well. It is a 51 eye size. This has a simple pin hinge, same as really all of these actually. Just a really cool frame. I think it is probably my favorite on this table. It is available in the 51 eye size, and the SFW for this guy is 132 millimeters. Treacherous, I tell you. Treacherous. That wraps it up for our top picks in aviators for smaller faces. I hope that your eyes are a little more open. Maybe before you only thought of aviators as this, and now you see that there's kind of a world of aviators out there. And even more ideally, that you found a style that you think will suit you well. If you are ready to order and you like any of these styles, stick around for just a moment longer. We'll have an easy to click shop now button. Also, if you're ready to order, again, don't forget about that CBITR guarantee. I really think it gives you a ton of peace of mind. And if peace of mind is your thing, us opticians, again, I talk about us ad nauseum, but I think it's really cool that we have trained, certified, knowledgeable, friendly, helpful opticians just a phone call away. So you can always reach out to us. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this was interesting or valuable information. If so, give us a like, you guys. It helps us out, you know? You can find relevant videos over here. And if you're ready to shop these styles, really quick and easy to click shop now button here. Also, I think you should check us out on our social media outlets. If you're looking for cool, fun, new, exciting content, check us out there because I think you'd like it. Otherwise, I wouldn't recommend it.